Howdy, welcome back to Vitality Vault with Vitality Ventures Group, a production by Vitality Lens. Today we're joined by Joanna Asplund of JoJo+CoCo, a local retail shop owner all over Washington State. She has had an unforeseen journey with her business plans after pandemic hurdles and shares her experience as a woman in business. If you'd like to follow her journey or get in touch with Joanna, I'll list all of her links below. Empowered women empower women. Take it away, Joanna and Shannon.
He's a speaker?
Yeah, so...
Is he for internet security?
Yes, yeah.
That sounds like interesting and boring at the same time.
Interesting for him, yeah. Probably boring for me. I'm not in that space, and so when you're not in that space, it's very difficult, but it's a big space, though.
Oh, it's a huge space.
Yeah, it's a huge space, yeah. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've listened to any of ours. It's literally just talking to women who, have businesses, who are entrepreneurs, and, we talk about everything. We just go from, because, it's not necessarily...
I hope I'm not disappointing.
You're not going to be disappointing. Maddie is...
I'm not very exciting, but... Yeah.
Oh, you are exciting. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you.
And Maddie's our producer, so if you're afterwards, you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. She can edit anything. She has to edit me all the time.
Okay,
and you and I don't really know each other, but I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
I curse way too much. Are you offended by cursing?
No, not at all.
Oh,
not at all.
Thank fucking Lord, Maddie.
I'm not offended at all. No.
I did have a... I'm asking you that. I haven't asked that in the past, but one of the people that I did do a podcast with, I could tell when I was saying fuck, I could tell she was a little she was nice about it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I always want people to be their true, genuine, authentic selves around me. So
cool.
That's fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me what your last name is.
Asplund.
Asplund.
Yeah.
Are you originally from this area?
Yes. From Kelso, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so from Kelso.
Born and raised here,
Born and raised in Kelso. Yeah.
And your husband, too?
No, my husband's from Tacoma.
Okay.
So,
but you're PNW people.
PNW people. So I grew up in Kelso. I moved to Tacoma. I think I was about 19 or 20. And then I lived there for 10 years. I met my husband there. And then we moved back home. It really didn't matter where we lived, because my husband traveled so much. So he just needed an airport. So after we got married, I wanted to be closer to home, because we wanted to raise our kids in a smaller community. And so we found a home that we loved, and we just moved back to Kelso, or Longview, actually, and we've lived there ever since. So
that's where you're living now.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about that area is it takes me across the bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Longview. So I grew up in Kelso, and then we've been back in Longview for the last 23 years. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we love it. We love this small community, and we own a home in Nashville as well, and we love it there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So Nashville. I had never been to Nashville.
Yeah.
I have the same group of friends that I've had since, I say 7th grade, they say earlier.
Okay.
Literally the same exact ones. We went to high school together. We went to college together. We all graduated from Rutgers University. We lived together in college. We lived together after college. We're in different parts of the country, and every, I'd say 4 to 6 months for 40 years, we go on girls' trips.
Okay, yeah.
So we've gotten to the point now where it's just a matter of, you don't want to fly too long anymore. I can't stand freaking, layovers and shit.
I'm the same way.
So about 2 months ago, we're like, okay, and we don't plan it, but we go, if one of us is like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's a lot because everybody's a business owner.
Yeah. Then you go.
Yes.
It's like you drop
They're
what
like,
you're doing
okay.
and you go.
Yeah. So 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, we were on the phone. I'm like, I need something. They're like, okay. So we literally looked on Expedia or whatever, and we're like, where can we all go where the flight's not too long and nobody has a layover? And it was Nashville.
Yeah. Yep.
None of us had ever been to Nashville before.
Oh,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That place is amazing.
It is amazing. It is. And when people think Nashville, I I always tell them, like when they say that they're going to Nashville and they ask me where they should go, I always say, you have to do the music, the strip, right?
Yes.
You have to do that. And that's fun, but there's so many parts to Nashville that people really don't even realize. So we live on the east side. It's about 10 minutes out of downtown. And there's just so many little pocket communities.
The communities are beautiful.
The communities are beautiful. The people are amazing. The food. I mean, there really is a thing called Southern hospitality.
Absolutely. We had our hotel was right across from Vanderbilt University, and I grew up in a university school, area. And I was like, it was, and we just walked everywhere. The homes it was amazing.
Yeah.
Now the Strip.
It's a little
anxiety.
Yeah.
Saturday, we were there like Thursday, and we're like, this is great. This is great. We went down Friday, and I was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's crazy. And it's like that 12 months out of the year. It is.
It's a lot.
So my son is in the music industry, and so
what does he do?
He's audio engineering.
Okay.
And so he went to Belmont University.
Okay.
Graduated from Belmont, and he's just been trying to work his way up, and he's working in the industry now, and he loves it. And he's met some great people. Yeah, but he says he's met like Jelly Roll, Gwen Stefani,
Jelly Roll,
Boyz II Men. I was pretty disappointed that he didn't really know who Boyz II Men was, and I was like, that is my era.
Wanye.
That is me.
Yes. How old are you?
I'll be 52 this month.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Jelly Roll. I just saw him with Eminem the other day, and I was like, because I'm a huge Eminem fan.
I am. Oh, I'm a huge Eminem fan.
Do you love Houdini?
Yes, I
the
love
new
it.
song. I showed.
It's
comforting.
Coming back. It's very I love him.
Love him.
Yes.
And I was showing my 17-year-old son. He's like, "Oh, who's this?" I'm like, "Well, this is Slim Shady." He goes, "Well, it's Eminem." And I'm like, "But wait, I have to explain how this all works." And he's like, "But it's the same person." I'm like, "I know, but this is Slim Shady. This is my favorite."
But I will have to say, my favorite is Tupac.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I love that you love rap. I literally thought I was the only lady who loved rap.
Yes, and Tupac was so talented.
So, oh my gosh, and a good guy, and had a good message, and he was very
great message,
all encompassing about it. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, we've been talking. You probably don't know that, but I'm going to introduce you. Okay. JoJo, you're going to tell me your last name again?
Asplund. Joanna Asplund.
Joanna Asplund. Yeah. I have Joanna Asplund here today. And you own JoJo+CoCo's, which is, I've spent a lot of money there. I love it.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
You have a couple locations, right?
Yeah.
So where are your locations?
So I have a location. My first location is in Longview. So we have one in Longview. We have one in Sumner, Washington.
Where's that?
It's right by Puyallup. So you know how Longview and Kelso are together?
You're talking to an East Coast person. I don't know where shit is.
It's towards Seattle.
Okay.
So it's in Sumner, Washington. Cute little area. And then here, Ridgefield.
And I'm assuming the Longview Kelso one was the first one you had,
right?
Right,
that was our first one.
And when did you do that? When did you
2017.
Not that long ago to have 3.
Yeah, no, I like to move quickly.
So how long did you have that one before you opened up the second one, which I know it was the other one because the Ridgefield's new, right?
I want to say 4 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. So what happened was I had a pretty aggressive growth plan, and then COVID hit. And so the plan was 5 stores in 5 years. So I wanted to open up 1 store every year in 5 years.
That's aggressive.
Yeah. So and it's very doable. And so but what happened then? You had COVID. And so that just kind of put everything on hold. So I'm just kind of trying to play catch up. So
you're still on the track to opening up more places. Let me ask you this. What's your background? Because you had a whole life before 2017. So what led you to opening up a retail store? And I must tell you, my business, when I was first starting out my business a long time ago, I worked with retail stores. I worked with restaurants. I do not work with retail stores and restaurants anymore.
Okay.
The margins were small. It was just a difficult business.
That is hilarious
for strategic growth and marketing to work with.
That's interesting because I have restaurant background as well.
Oh, so you just like to be stressed out all the time. That's the goal?
Yeah. No, I think I like the intensity of it all. To be
It's
honest
very
with you.
intense.
Yeah. My background is it's not, I would say I'm very self-taught. So my husband and I are both kind of have similar backgrounds. So we've had to work our entire lives. Nothing's ever really come easy to us. We always knew that we were going to have to work. And so I just started off in the restaurant industry, and I supported myself. I was a single mom for 5 years, and so I supported myself in the restaurant industry, and then
As a waitress?
and then management, and all. And then I love the restaurant industry. I think it's great.
I think people love it or hate it.
They love it or they hate it.
I had owned a restaurant for a little bit. I hated every freaking second of it. I loved the people.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I don't know.
It's not for everybody.
It wasn't my thing.
It's not for everybody, and you're right. The profit margins are very low, especially in today's world. But I just always known that I was going to work for myself. I always knew that, but I haven't always worked for myself. So I've had my own businesses, and then I've gone back to Grant and I love to fix things. So I'm a builder. So I'm a fixer by trade.
Physically?
No, just businesses.
Right.
So I love to go into a business that's failing and fix it.
Absolutely.
I love that. That's
Yep,
my jam.
That's what we do.
Oh,
here,
I love to do that.
Don't you think that's something that's almost ingrained in you? Because I remember being a very young person and walking into a business and thinking, I know how to fix this. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the problems.
Yeah.
I can't I don't want to run it, but I can tell you how to fix it.
Yes, absolutely. I think that it just comes naturally. So I would go in and I would see, so I took a job I had a couple of big projects. I had one at Peace Health, and then I also had one at a country club in Longview, and they were not doing well at all. And so I went in and I just knew instantly what we needed to do. And so I just knew how
is your
to fix it.
focus more on the physical part or the digital part?
Oh, I peel back the onion, what I call about peeling back the onion and just seeing where the bleeding is, how to stop the bleeding, basically what you can do. It's either you're doing this, you're either going to go in and say, okay, this is what you need to do for the next 5 years, or you're going to have to shut your doors within the next 3 to 6 months, because those are really your only two options. And so I don't know why. I love a challenge. I think that's why most entrepreneurial people are entrepreneurial, because they have to like a challenge. I think it's a different breed. Entrepreneurial people are a different breed.
I tell Maddie that, because Maddie has an entrepreneur. She has that entrepreneurial spirit. When I met her, she was doing her thing. She was figuring it out. She was learning. And I'm like, you can't choose. I don't think you can choose to be an entrepreneur, the brain part of it. I think people do think, oh, I'm going to open this up, and they realize they don't have that. It doesn't excite them to be crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh, you have to be a little bit of crazy.
And you're going to be rich, then you're going to be poor, and then you're going to have money, and then you're not going to have money, and then you're going to not sleep at night, and you're going to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, oh, I have an idea, I'm going to do this, and you're going to have to learn to recharge. That's a big part of it.
That is a big part of it. I struggle with that one.
So do I. I just spent the last 3 days in Seaside, literally for hours walking on the beach, listening to podcasts, not business and marketing, and just trying to reset my brain and get back to the creative and the problem solving and the strategic, because when you're running a business day to day, you get into it, sometimes you have to step outside it, rest and recharge to solve the problems.
Yes, absolutely. My thing is it's a 24/7. I think that entrepreneurial people have to be risk takers.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to be very patient. So one of my biggest peeves, I guess I would say, is I see these people that go and they want to open up a business. They start a business. And on the outside, it looks like it could be a very successful business. So they've done all the right things in the very beginning. But what happens is they're not patient. and they don't get that instant gratification. They're not as successful as they thought they were going to be or should be, and they just don't write it out. They just don't take the time to write it out.
You have to.
It's not going to be instant success.
No. Well, it's like 2 years, right? It's the 2-year mark. It's almost like always around that 2-year mark.
I always say 3 years to survive,
Yep.
5 to thrive.
Yep.
And, you know, my husband and I, we owned a software company, and we had our highs and lows. And it's just everything.
Is your husband entrepreneurial minded?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's great because that makes it easier. I think if you're with someone who's not like that, it's hard for them sometimes.
Oh, we understand each other.
Yeah.
So it's very, like I was at the store until 10 o'clock last night. I didn't get home till 11. And there's no like, oh, why are you doing, I mean, we're, like, he does his own thing, I do my own thing. We're very independent people, and then we come back and we meet in the middle. And we've always been that way. My husband's traveled 4 years. And
Entrepreneurial people are they need their time. You know what I mean? Don't you think? They're individuals to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
They're not like, I need to be with
I love my husband, I love my kids, but I need my own identity. And, you know, people always say, you work too much, you work too much, you work too much. Or they're like, you know, well, that's my vice.
You
and
like
so,
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that more people would work more if they were doing what they loved. And so it's easy to work 24/7
Because
if
you love what you're doing.
If you don't love what you're doing, it's not as easy.
But a lot of people don't know what they love. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
I know, and I
think
hate
it takes
that for
so
people.
much introspection to be very honest with yourself.
Yes.
You know, because a lot of people they don't want to be entrepreneurs. They want to, you know, maybe $150,000 is what they want to do, and they don't want to work late until 10 o'clock at night at a store. They want to go to their kids' games. They want to sit down and have the dinners, and that's great. But I think it takes so much introspection to understand what is it that drives you. I love to work too. I love it. It's not a chore. It's great. I want to work all the freaking time. Other things get in the way of my work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for the longest time, so like because for a while, people kept saying to me, you know, you work too much, you work too much, you work too much. And then I started like thinking, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me? Am I running away from something? What's going on? But then my therapist said, it's okay, right? So it took her to explain to me that is your joy. So everybody finds joy. Some people find joy in traveling. Some people find joy in hobbies. My work is my joy. And so that's why what I do is so easy for me. I don't mind being committed 24/7 to it.
And I think it's more difficult and I'm not going to get all sexist. I had a whole conversation with the Russian last night. The Russian's my partner. I call him the Russian. He's not Russian. He hates that. I don't care. He's from Moldova. Who knew that was a country? I didn't when I met him. So I just call him the Russian. We had this conversation last night because I do get into, I'm like men and women think completely differently.
Absolutely.
Okay. And women get told, oh, you're working too much, which we can internalize. I'm not being a good mother. I'm not spending the time with my family. Men don't think that way. Nobody says to men, you work too much. Oh, look at him. He's so successful. He's doing a great job. We have a different set of rules that society looks at us, and we do take it, you know, the guilt comes in, well, I have to do this too. And you do not have to. I want to spend time with my kids.
Yeah.
I want to be a good mother. I want to be nurturing, but I also want to do what I want to fucking do without feeling
mother.
doubt.
Yeah, I think you're a better mother and a better wife if you have your own thing.
Right.
You have to have your own thing and your own identity, because your identity isn't just being a mother or just being a wife. Your identity has to come from also what you love and what drives you.
So why did you decide to go from helping other businesses to owning your own? Because you knew helping besides the fact that you then know what to do. And JoJo+CoCo's is fantastic. I love that store.
Thank you.
I love your videos. I love your social media. I also love, and I think I said this to you the one time we met before, is your staff, the customer service is perfection.
Thank you.
When I go in there, I'm like, they're so good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. They have to be. I draw a line in the sand.
Well,
and that is, you have to have excellent customer service. I tell my girls all the time when I hire them, you can be late once in a while. You can short my till $100. But if you give bad customer service, if I have somebody walk in that store and they feel like they are not wanted in my store, that is a problem. That's not going to work for me. And I have hands down.
It will kill a business.
It will kill a business. And we have built our brand off of relationships. So I tell people all the time, you don't have to worry about sales. You don't have to worry about customer service if you have the relationship. So we build our brand around relationships. They have to be true, genuine, authentic relationships with clients and customers. And so people have to feel like they're appreciated. I'm old school. So I've had my first job at 14. So I grew up in those days where the customer was always right, where, you bent over backwards for the customer. And so that's how we feel. That's how I want to run my business. My customer service, I take a lot of pride in the relationships that I built over the years with my customers and some of my clients. I mean, it is about the relationship. You have to have good customer service.
100%. It's everything. It's even a receptionist. Say it's not a store. People put, I'll just stick some teenage there at the receptionist.
Yeah.
No, it's such a vital piece, that first kind of, walking in the door kind of thing.
It literally drives me insane when I see poor customer service. So I'll give you an example. I have a business owner in Puyallup. And she's like, I'm really struggling with my business. I just really don't know what to do, this and that. And she's like, you could tell she just doesn't have a handle on it, but she's very successful. So she's done a great job. But what happens is, so I was in her store. I was standing there talking to her for about 30 minutes. She had 2 employees. So 2 employees behind the counter. They were talking. They were looking on the computer. They were doing something. And I was sitting there talking to the business owner. And I was in there, like I said, about 30 minutes. I watched 4 people walk in. And the girls behind the counter didn't even look up. They didn't even acknowledge them. And I instantly wanted to say, that is your problem.
Absolutely.
Right
Did you tell her that?
I did. Oh, absolutely. I'm one of those that just
Was she aware?
She wasn't aware. Not everybody
Isn't
gets
that amazing?
it. Not everybody understands that the relationship has to come first. So, I tell my girls all the time, this is the thing. I have customers that I will have come into the store, and I will, if something doesn't look good on them, or if I don't have what they're looking for, I will just say, I don't have what you're looking for. I would try such and such, or I would go here. Because this is the thing. You have to establish trust with people. So I'm willing to lose the dollar that day in order to gain a relationship with them and earn their trust, so they do come back. And maybe I will have something for them the next time.
Because it's a long game.
Yeah, we always say
it's
it's never about the sale of the day. It's about the relationship.
So how do you scale that? So how do you make sure that, does your staff go through training, or do you just hire the right people? Both. You can't be, and I think there are a lot of business owners who, they have their one store, they do everything, and then they don't feel like they can leave because they feel like it's not going to be what.
I struggle with that. I wish there were 10 of me. And then I kind of thought to myself, it just kind of clicked with me. I'm like, there doesn't have to be 10 of me. What I need to do is I need to build a team of people that can run the company the way I want it to be ran. And I just have to show them. And so you do the training, but you also believe in your staff. Right? You have to believe in them as well, and you have to encourage them, and you have to be able to give them the tools that they need to be successful as well. And we also think very long term in the sense as when you come to work for me, we do things like peaches and pits, right?
What's that?
Peaches and pits. What were the highs of your day? What were the lows of the day? Right? We'll do training. We have, standardizations, right? SOPs in place. I mean, those things we have in place, but it's not a perfect by all means, it's not.
Oh, no, you always have to be.
You're always in. So for us, I will say the one thing that I just really push is the relationship piece, the customer service piece. So I feel like what I'm trying to do right now is I feel like a really good CEO actually hires people, really good people to run your business. There comes to a point where you have to kind of let it go. Because what I want to do is I want to be able to create something. I've created JoJo+CoCo. I've built it. Now I kind of want to pass it on and not forget about it, but still that frees me up to go do the next big thing that I want us to do. And so that's kind of what we're working on now. And so it's just really, you have to spend a lot of time investing in your employees. And I've got great employees.
You do have great employees.
I'm very lucky. My two of my daughters, so Alze runs the Ridgefield store, and then Becca, my other daughter, she runs the Sumner store. And they do a really good job, and I feel like I pay them well. And I'm very like, you need a week off? Let's give you a week off.
And you don't have problems with other employees because your daughters are working there? Yeah, you do. No? Really? Good.
I don't. No. But my girls, so my daughters, though, know me, and I hold them to a very high standard. A very high standard.
Right.
Like, and they have to, just because they're my daughters doesn't mean that they get any privileges. Like, I will say, Yeah,
you got to pull your weight like everybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why a retail store? I'm sure you helped many different kinds of businesses. Is it just because you...
I love... Okay, this is what I will say. I was just talking to my daughter about this the other day. Like, I love clothes, but there's a lot of women out there that are very fashionistas, like influencers, and they write these blogs, and they do this, and they do that. And that's not my jam. I have a really good eye. So I can really put things together. I was the youngest manager for Contempo Casuals. Do you remember
Oh my gosh, I do! I do.
Back in the day.
That is like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So we would compare it to like maybe an Aritzia. Right?
Yeah, I remember Contempo Casuals. Yeah.
So, and I've always been good at sales, and I love clothes, and I love styling. But I think for me, I am at a point in my life where I think what I wanted a place. So again, I mentioned earlier, I was a single mom for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I was working full time. I was going to school full time. I didn't have a lot of expenditure cash, but I always wanted to dress well. I always wanted to appear, I wanted to be able to wear nice clothing. I didn't like to go into like the wet seals and the cheaper, trendier, because I didn't have all that cash. But when I did buy something, I wanted it to be nice, but I didn't want to spend $200, right? So I didn't want to spend the $10, but I didn't want to spend the $200. But I always felt like everybody should be able to buy clothing at a great price point with amazing quality. So that's what I always said I was going to do. I said if I was going to open up a retail store, I wanted to make sure that my customer felt like they could walk into my store, feel good about the product, and feel great about the price. And so I've just always kind of built my business around that. Quality of product, reasonable pricing. And so I've always just think that sometimes at the time, it was difficult to kind of find that. And so that's what I just said, that's what I'm going to do one day. That's what I'm doing.
What it is.
Absolutely. That's what we've done.
Now Coco's your dog.
Yes.
But Coco's not with us anymore.
No,
is that correct?
She died about a year and a half ago. So she was my girl.
Oh.
So I'm JoJo. Everybody's always growing up. Everybody called me JoJo. Mm-hmm. And then Coco was my dog. So, but now she passed, but I had her for 16 years. Yeah,
oh, what
so I
kind
had
of dog
her for a
was
long
it?
time. A Pekingese.
Oh,
and so
we're we're big dog people here.
Oh, we're huge dog people. In fact, yes, we're big dog people.
Did you get another dog?
Yes, I got Lala and I got Frankie.
You got 2 dogs.
We've got 2 brand new Pekingese.
Oh, at the same time, you got 2 dogs at the same time?
Probably a couple of months.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So they're puppies?
Well, yeah.
How's that going?
It's going okay.
Did you forget what it was like having a puppy?
I did. But
because they're so adorable, you forget.
You do. But again, we're big animal lovers. Mm-hmm. We love animals. In fact, We are working on another big project, and I'm going to call it Lala's.
Is it a retail store?
It will be in Ridgefield, yeah. We're super excited.
Clothing? Or you don't want to tell me?
Well, we'll share later.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, we're opening up another retail option, probably I'd say next June.
So I'm assuming at this point you've got a system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what what advice, and I know you do this, and I know you consult you consult mainly with other women who are opening up their own businesses, or you're still doing the I'll fix your business thing for you?
No, I'm not. I'm so focused on JoJo+CoCo. I'll help women whenever they want help. I'll have people that will call me and ask me. I'll help where I can, but I'm just so consumed with what I've got going on right now with JoJo+CoCo and other things. So, but I'm always here. Like, I'm always a phone call away. I always tell people, yeah, give me a call. I have no problem with,
So when you opened up JoJo+CoCo's, because you understood businesses and how they're successful and why they're successful. So when you opened up JoJo+CoCo's, did you encounter like, holy shit, I fucked that up. Didn't know about that. Like, what did you learn, I guess, that you were surprised about? Was there anything, or you were like, nope, knew what to do, did it fine?
I think because... No, I mean, I think you always have highs and lows of your businesses. So I think I learned those things with our previous businesses, right?
Okay.
So, and I feel like I went into JoJo+CoCo not really knowing what to expect, but I don't look at things as like, oh, I really fucked that up. Mm-hmm. I'm more like, oh God, I wish I would have done that. Mm-hmm. Or we should do this. Or, so for entrepreneurial people and for small businesses like ours, we're very nimble in the market. And so we're able to, if something does happen, we're able to make that shift.
Right.
Right. And so for me, it's more like, have I made mistakes? Probably, yeah, absolutely.
Well, right.
We all make mistakes.
Right.
But have they been just so devastating? No. That I just expect it. I mean, sometimes I'm like, where's all my cash at?
Right.
Right? Then then you go back and you say, okay, it's because we're reinvesting in building this business. It's always the bigger picture, right? So I think I base my success not off of, you can't always base your success off of how much money that you have in the bank. And I think a lot of people do that.
I think as an entrepreneur, if you're looking to start your first thing, your own thing, whatever, if you're doing it to make money, you're going to lose.
Oh, God, yes.
Because money cannot be a driver.
No,
it will come.
No. It will
but
come.
You have to figure out why you want to do it. Like, what is the reason? Again, if you figure out, if you know what you love to do, and there are ways to make businesses around anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're all individuals. We all offer something specific that nobody else can. Mm-hmm. Even if it's doing the same thing everybody else is doing, you put your own stamp on it, your own brand on it. But if it's just to get rich, it's not going to work.
I would rather, I took on 2 really big projects that almost killed me, just basically just drained me. And when I say that, it's because I knew how to fix them. I knew what needed to be done. But people want you to fix something that's broken, but they don't want you to change anything. So they don't want you to come in and disrupt what they've got going on, but they want you to fix it. And so they don't want you to change anything.
Well, they get so emotionally attached.
Yes, but they want you to fix the problem. Right. And so you're literally, for entrepreneurial people, when they come up against those obstacles, you're literally beating your head up against the wall. And it would drive me crazy. I'm very type A personality. So it's like 1 through 10. Oh, we can fix this. You just have to do this, 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 and this. But people will fight you the whole entire way. And I can't do that. It would drive me crazy. So I just, one day after taking this one project on, and I literally just said, I'm not doing this anymore, because it's a very thankless position, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I just said, I would rather work for myself. I'd rather earn less and then just have more control over my destiny. So,
well, I think prior to my previous was up for 4 years working with them, still as a contractor, building it, growing it, starting it kind of thing. Previously, I would never, ever be involved. I had my rule. I'm out after 2 years because historically it would be because I usually start with a business.
Yeah.
I'm going to build you. I'm going to grow you. I'm going to get the fuck out in
That's
2 years.
me.
Systems.
I'm a 5-year.
Oh, okay. Systems and processes will be in place, but usually it would be that it would be going great, but the business owner wouldn't understand why it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They thought it was just all them. Oh no, we're so successful. Now we're going to do this. It's like, no. That's not what we do. So I'd be like, peace out.
Yeah. I'm the 5 years, so people would say they don't.
5 years is long.
It is long. And people would always say, she's at her 5-year mark. And so it's
mine's
like,
2.
Yeah, I'm at I can do about 5 years and then I'm out. And so but I get bored easily. I need a challenge. And I think.
It's because you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I get super bored. Success and when things are calm, that doesn't sit well with me at all.
No, it's boring.
It's boring because there's so much out there.
And there's always something else to do.
There's always something to do. Yeah. And I just feel like it's like I don't want to have at the end of the day, I always my husband and I always say at the end of the day, I don't want to be like shit. I wish I would have fucking done that.
Right.
That's my biggest fear.
So now
biggest fear in life.
So you mentioned you have a therapist. So do you have business coaches? Do you have other people? Because
no, I don't have anything like that. I think.
So how do you get through? Because we always running businesses. You always run up against. Okay, and usually comes with growth.
Yeah.
You hit a growth plan and you go, okay, I have to change now everything. Or a lot that got me here in order to get to the next level. That's what I did this weekend. I'm walking in because I'm like,
yes, you have to.
You can only scale to so high.
Yeah.
Then you got to flip it.
And don't you feel like you always there's something on the other side and you just can't
get to it?
That's where I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like it's like our business has been so successful. We've been able to establish some great relationships. We have some great clients, great customers. I feel really good about what I've built, but I just feel like I'm like there's something over there.
Yeah.
And I need to be over there. I can't I need to, especially for JoJo+CoCo especially. Like we do so well with what we're doing now, but we need to kind of bump it up to that next level. And I will always say, I think because I have such a great staff, my marketing girl, she's amazing. Chelsea Atkins, I've been with her for years. I feel like sometimes I can hinder my own business.
How?
Oh, because I'm just so I'm not the minutia person. I'm the visionary. So I'm more the big picture. So I'm really good at coming up with, we had JoJo+CoCo Crate Club. It was a huge success. So it was like a subscription, kind of like Stitch Fix. Yeah.
Right.
And it really took off. And I had clients. I had over 110 clients for my small little business. That was huge. And it was so big and so successful. But I had to stop doing it because it literally was so successful that I wasn't giving 110% of it. I couldn't.
Right.
So I literally.
So you had to make a decision. Am I gonna grow that? Or because I won't do anything if I can't give you 120% of myself. So I was not giving the customer service experience that I wanted this experience for my customers, but I couldn't give it because it got so big. So I literally just. You ended the whole thing?
I ended the whole thing. And that was a lot of money off of my net income that year. But I just said I didn't care because I had to focus on the longevity of things, right? And and
that was a nice short-term bump, but again, it's a long game.
It's definitely a long game.
It's not like you're going to get to this goal and then you're done. It doesn't work that way.
No.
There's no, what's the goal? Death? I mean, you know what I mean? Literally, you're going to just keep going.
Yeah, and everybody always says, well, are you going to sell? And I just say, no, I'm not going to sell. No. I won't
Unless
sell.
something more interesting comes along.
I think what I would do is I would just keep them, and you just, again, you have everything in place, the systems and everything in place, and everybody, all your employees know the expectation, and you allow them to take on what you've built, and then you go do the next big thing.
How many employees do you have?
11.
Okay.
I am a lean machine.
But that's great.
I have 3 stores, and
And 11? Do they go to the different places? No. So you have full timers then?
No.
No?
I don't even let my daughters work full time. I don't. I am known for running lean. We run lean. But you can run lean. You don't need 30, 40 employees. A lot of people think if they have all these employees, they can say, I have 50 employees. For me, that's not a...
that sounds like hell.
Yeah, for me, that sounds like that would give me...
Yeah, because then you have to manage all their personalities and manage... I
always say fewer is better.
Yeah.
I always say fewer...
Well, if it's working.
Yeah, I'm not like one of those that's like, I've got 50 employees.
So what do you do when someone calls in sick?
I work my floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the biggest mistake I believe people make. You have to work your own floor. You have to work your own business. So even if you're very successful and you have all these great things going on, you have to stay grounded. You have to remember
you have to get down and dirty
on business. Yeah. And I think sometimes people forget that. And I'm like, get on that floor, girl. Sell. Lead by example. That's the.
Not every day, but when you need to do it, you need to. Well, you can't do it every day.
You can't do it every day because then you're not growing. But I don't think there's anything wrong with like working your own floor.
Mm-hmm. It's like being grounded. It's like going back and sitting down and putting your feet on the ground and opening the boxes and doing the dirty work because that's where you start anyway.
Exactly. But I'm not I'm more of a bigger picture person. I'm not. I can't stand the minutia of things. So it's like I'm not I need somebody, and so what I've done is I'm bigger picture visionary. This is my idea. Then I like to pass it off to somebody to execute it because I am not the dot your I's, cross your T person. I get so bored. And then I get a little sloppy.
Well, if you are, then you never get past that. You know what I mean? If you micromanage, then you can't.
Yeah.
You give people, you said you have a marketing person. You let them do their marketing.
Yeah.
You know, you give the people who they're the practitioner of that discipline. Yeah. That's their expertise. You let them do that. Because if you are the owner, you have to be the bigger person, meaning you have to be able to look and see what's going on. And you have to let that strategic growth and those ideas and the creativity. And if you're freaking doing the accounting, you can't be doing that shit.
Yeah. I'll teach my girls the things like QuickBooks even. So I'm very open book. We have a very I'm an open book. When it comes to sales and numbers, I don't care about any of that. So our girls have sales goals, but I'm very open as a business. So the girls can see anything.
They can see.
Oh, they can see anything. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I mean, because they need to know those things. If I say, hey, I'm going to send you home early, they need to know why. You have to explain things to people. You have to explain things. But I'm a very open book when it comes to our numbers because I'll have somebody come to me and they'll be like, I did $4 million last year in sales. I don't really care what you did in sales gross. What did you net?
Right.
I know a lot of businesses that will place value on their sales and
on their revenue. And it's but what are your numbers underneath that?
Yeah. So people look at the gross number and they're like, well, I did $4 million gross last year. So they're boasting this, which is great. Take ownership of that. That's lovely. I'm not dogging on that at all. But what people have to understand is it really doesn't matter what you did gross. What did you net?
Right.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that's a big mistake that business owners make a lot of times and they also think, and this is I have to be cautious about this one as well. I had to reel myself back in sometimes because I'm 10, 15 stores. I'm let's do this. But you actually can make more money if you have fewer stores.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So I think there's that fine line. I think
so where you got, so you said 5 was your goal. You have 3. because of COVID. So are you doing the 5? Or are you pivoting a little? It sounds like you're pivoting.
I'm going to pivot a little.
Good.
But I'll end up with 6 to 7.
Total.
Total.
And you're going to stop there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Really, what I wanted to do in the very beginning was because I, growing up, didn't have, from a business perspective, or I really didn't know what I wanted to do. What I really want to be able to do, honestly, is take JoJo+CoCo and start like scholarship funds for young entrepreneurial women. I want to be able to have them come in and have like a program where they can come into JoJo+CoCo's, learn basic accounting, sales, how to start your own business, what you need, even like help them with startup costs, things. That's really what I want to do down the road.
I think that's great. And so they can come in and they can see the unglamorous part of owning the business.
Because I love all these young girls, and I love the fact that women are at where they're at today, in the sense as you didn't have a lot of entrepreneurial people, women. You didn't see a lot of them.
Oh, there was none. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you just didn't see it.
The mindset, let's say back in the 80s and 90s, was still extremely old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Very, old white dudes have the businesses, we're the mommies, and it wasn't the entrepreneurial. I don't know when that became a thing. I don't even know if those words were really used like that back then.
Women have been getting the shaft for years.
Oh, since the beginning of time, honey.
And I feel very strongly about that. I'm like, and I have to say,
that's what the Russian and I were arguing about last night. I'm like, listen, because I don't know about you. I love listening to like business podcasts, and there are certain leaders that I really love listening to, and I think they really give a lot of good advice, and it makes you think a little differently. But they're all guys.
Yeah.
All of them. And that's because it's always been a man's world, and men own businesses and ran businesses. Women couldn't even get into the C-suite, 20 years ago, realistically. Or if they did, you knew their name because there was one of them, Yeah. So I listened to all these wonderful podcasts, and I don't even know the names at this point. And their advice is fantastic, but their advice, because they are men, is from a man's point of view. And women work differently, have different stressors during the day. We still have a family we're going to have to take care of. That ain't going to fucking go away.
Yeah.
It's just not. We are still going to think about, does my kid have lunch money? All the things that don't even occur to men. Not bad or good. It's just we all function differently. So I think successful women, and women who have done the dirty and really going down it and still juggling all the other things, I think it's almost our responsibility to tell these younger women,
it is absolutely
this is how you do it.
Yes.
Don't feel guilty.
No.
Because people will make you. You will have so many other, and women can be the worst.
Oh, they can be the worst. And
you will have other women hating the fuck on you. Yeah. They will just, don't listen to them at all.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So I always say, so this is the thing, is like, and I also feel like we all want to be liked. We all...
Yes, men don't care about being liked.
When someone tells me, I don't care if people like me, I think, oh my God, I would never want to think that way. I want people to like me. But
it's in our DNA, because we're supposed to be part of a community, and community is safety, and community is security.
But society has taught us to pit ourselves against each other.
Yes.
Society has taught us that other women are a threat, and it drives me crazy. It's one of my things for me where I'm just like, it makes my skin boil. Because I get so frustrated, because it's this whole, do you remember when that whole thing, women supporting women thing has come out? And then it's also like, Okay, so I did a blog post a couple years ago, and it was when the whole community over competition hashtag. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
So it was this big thing, and it's called community over competition. And I thought, oh God, okay, that's interesting. Because then what happens is it's like a catchphrase, and then everybody starts tagging it. Hashtag community over competition. But they really don't even know what that means. Right? So they don't really understand it. They're just following that trend. And I'm really not a trend follower. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to kind of read up. I want to know where that came from. And it's really interesting, this whole community over competition thing. People are throwing it out left and right, but they really don't understand what the meaning behind it really came from. And it was really about this group that just decided that they were going to build their own community and not compete with each other.
Okay.
Okay. But it was really interesting because people just started throwing it out. And I just kind of said, no, wait a minute. Let's take it back a little bit. Okay. So I think, of course, you want to do community. You want to be community supportive. But you can't take away from what you've done, your hard work.
Right.
Right. And so I didn't get pushback on it, but I did. But I also had some people calling me and saying, I loved your blog. What you said is what I'm thinking. So when people when you feel like you've done something.
Competition doesn't have to be negative.
No, so when
you can be friends with competitors.
Oh, absolutely. You need them.
I mean, look at sports. I mean, those guys, the job is done, football players. My father was a college coach. He was friends with lots of other college coaches when it was game time. They wanted to win, and then they go out for drinks afterwards.
I think what you need to do is be competitive with yourself.
Correct.
So I have a personal and professional goal every year that I set. So this is my personal goal. This is my professional goal. I'm highly competitive. I'm a very competitive person, but you'll find that I'm more competitive with myself because I can't worry about what this other person's doing over here.
They're not you.
They're not you. And so I think that you have to support your community, but you can still be competitive. But take that competitiveness and put it towards your own energy, towards what you're doing.
Look, a year ago, have I improved? Have I done better? I mean, you can say in the future, I want to do that, and that's fine. But I think if you look at your past, especially if you get down on yourself, everybody does. Am I doing everything I need to do? And sometimes we do, and sometimes we go and have too much to drink. You know what I mean? Whatever it is.
If you don't have any personal or professional growth, you can't blame anybody but yourself.
Right.
That's on you.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're too busy focusing on the things
haters will always be there. And if you're a woman out there and you're making decisions because you're worried what other people are going to think, they're always going to think something. You can't have that as a stopgap. And if someone is envious of you, it's just because they are not, personally, I believe, living up to their own expectations and they feel bad about themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The more businesses, I think what you also have to remember is in our communities, we want for me, I want several boutiques. I want several options. Because what happens is in our smaller communities, when you only have 2 stores, that's not good for us because the consumer is going to say, well, I want a lot of options, so I'm going to go over here where there's 12 boutiques, right? And so you want all those different options.
That's why people go to malls and outlets and things like that.
And so I just feel like the more the merrier. Now we have to make sure that, we're not offering the same product, right? We have to make sure that we're all, creating our own story or our own experience for that customer, because the last thing you want is the consumer doesn't want to go to your store and then walk 2 stores down and find the same product.
Thing.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
So how do you manage that kind of stuff? Do you guys all talk to each other? Did I open up a can of worms? I did. No,
I don't.
I mean, is it just an unspoken respect? They have that. I'm not going to bring it in, or
a lot of my lines are zip code protected.
Oh, okay. So there's in the industry there are things. I didn't know.
So my brands are all zip code protected, and so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
There is. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but it depends on what kind of market you're in, right? So if you're kind of in that fast fashion industry, they're not gonna protect your zip code because they basically they're just gonna sell to whoever. They don't care. they're not there. They're just going to sell to whoever. So that for what we call the fast fashion industry is...
what's the fast fashion industry?
Cheap and trendy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, so you've got...
Like an H&M or something like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
like an H&M, which I think is great. There's a market for anybody, there's a market for any business. But for me, though, my brands are zip code protected. So I basically say, okay, I want zip code protection for this line. And they give it to me. And so...
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then that way, it's better that way because then you don't have to worry about those things. And then that way... you're able to create your own experience for your customer, right? And then like Anne from Arctana is able to do the same thing, right? So you have, Posh that's in Longview across the street from me. She's able to do the same thing. So it can be cohesive. It should be cohesive, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It should be very easy.
Because people are going to go where they want to go. People are going to, they're going to relate. Like, I love going in your store because I love your clothes. I also love your employees. They're, I walk in, they're like, oh, hey, I mean, I went, I don't know who the girl is. Oh, I wish I knew her name. And it was like 3-4 months ago. I was checking out and she goes, you should meet Renee Surface. That's what she said. And I said, okay, I should meet Renee Surface. She goes, I think you guys would get along. This was one of your employees. She wrote her number down. She goes, I want you to text her. I feel like you guys would get along.
Was she a beautiful brown girl?
Yes, she was.
That's my girl. That's my daughter.
That's your daughter?
That's my daughter.
Your daughter's fucking fantastic.
I love her.
And she...
Alizé.
Yes. Yeah. And so I don't know Renee. So I texted her because she's in the area. So I texted her and she's like, oh, you know what? Someone told me I should meet you too. And then we texted and we ended up texting and not hooking up. And then we ended up hooking up and now we're working together on certain things.
Yep. So that is an example of relationship building.
Yes.
That's what I've taught the girls to do.
And I'm talking about it now because it was so impactful to me because it was natural. I think a lot of people think those things, but they don't do those things. But they don't do them.
Yeah. Yep. You have to do them.
Your daughter's fan.
Thank you. She's amazing.
My favorite one.
She's a great girl. She is a go-getter, that one. She's amazing.
But she's honest, too.
She's very honest.
And I like that. She's like, I don't think you'd like that, but I think she pulled something out. Like, for me, she's like, there's a thing back there. I feel like you'd like it. I'm not in there every day. Yeah. I'm in there,
if I have,
once a month maybe, but she's so good.
Yeah, if I walk in and one of my girls is working with a customer and I see the customer has something on and I know it doesn't look good on her, my employee knows it doesn't look good on her, and if she says, yeah, it looks great on her.
No, you can't do that. You always have to be honest and say, you know what?
I will be like, absolutely not.
Yep.
Absolutely not. That's not how we work here. What you do is you just say, you know what? It's not my favorite on you, but I think I have something else that will look amazing on you. Or you know what? I don't think I have anything for you today.
Yeah.
But, there might be something over down at this store or, or... Well,
that's where the trust is developed.
You have to develop trust. I mean, it's like, I always say, this is what I say to the girls. Listen, they get in their car, they wake up, they take a shower, they get in their car, they drive all the way to our store, they come in, they take the time to come to us, respect them, and give them the time and the experience that they deserve. That's what you have to. You have to think of it like that.
And I think that is when it comes to providing value to your customers, no matter what business you're in.
Yeah,
you have to understand that you have to be honored that they took time.
And I think we've lost that.
I think so too. I think people are so quick. They want quick, fast. Let's go, and don't take those relationships. That is long money. Realistically, it is. Oh, well, very good. I think this was chock full of millions of nuggets. Maddie laughed. I think she got tired of listening to us.
Did you? Over an hour, so I ran out of.
Did we really?
Oh, we're chatters. Okay.
Did you?
We're fine. Everything's good.
Okay.
I hope I was helpful, or I hope I was.
No, thank you so much. That was great. I could talk to you forever about this. This is good. We'll have to do this again.
Facets about entrepreneurship and women and businesses and no competition
and women
healthy
supporting
and women supporting women. But not like just saying it, but actually doing it.
Actually doing. Well, a lot of people say things and then they turn around and hate. And,
that's a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. Well,
and I won't work with, and I'm always very honest, I won't work with women who are catty. I won't do it.
You're never going to get anywhere good.
No, because it's just, I think
if you can't be happy for someone else's success, that is a real problem.
Yeah. But again, I will say, society has done that to us. I believe society has really conditioned women to feel like we're competitors and that we're like you're the enemy. I do. I really feel like society
I think so
has
to
played
a certain extent. I think so to a certain extent. But ultimately it comes down to individuals, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
And
yes.
realistically,
holding yourself responsible and accountable for your own behaviors.
I think you're right with society because. But I think people who see other people being successful, we'll go women who see other women being successful and then and make that negative or hate or whatever.
Because they want that and they're like, why am I not getting that? Why don't I?
Oh, I don't know. Because they're not fucking putting the work in.
Yeah, you got to put the work in.
Ultimately?
Yeah.
You can't want something without putting the work in.
And
it's a lot of goddamn fucking work.
Oh, God. I think
the worst people in the world are ambitious, lazy people.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Those are the ones who become the haters.
That is tough. That is tough that people just want things but not willing to work for it. Like I tell people all the time, I work 24/7.
Right.
I'm working constantly. I didn't get home last night till 11.
Yeah.
Yesterday was my day off. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's like you have to really want to put the work in.
And you have to be very introspective. And you have to look inside yourself before you start anything. And if you're not willing to do that, and it's okay if you're not.
Yeah, hey, that's not
if
your
you
jam.
don't want to do that, if you want to be at your kid's softball game every time and never miss it, and you don't want to be working Christmas morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, making sure your online sales and nothing's fucking up, that's okay.
Yeah.
But you have to really look inside yourself, and if you aren't loving every second of it, even when you're hating it, still loving it.
It's like a marriage. As I always say, it's like a marriage. Like there's some days where you're like, why am I still here?
100%.
And then there's other days where you're like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Right.
Right. So it is like kind of like a marriage.
And I think every marriage is like, my parents were married for 55 years and they were madly in love and they loved each other. My mother was very honest. My father always just said, your mother's wonderful. He would never say anything negative. Yeah. And she's like, he's a fucking pain in the ass. I wanted to leave him so many times. But I didn't, and I wouldn't.
That's like a marriage. It's like a business is like a marriage. Like you're married to it, and there's some days where you just want to kill it, and then there's some days where you just can't let go of it.
Right. But if you don't let go and you stick it out, now, PSA, if you're in a bad fucking marriage, get the fuck out. Don't stick with it. Okay, absolutely. We don't have to tell you.
Yes, absolutely.
But if you know internally this is working.
Yeah.
Even though if it's not working today,
it's just that
it's not going to work right every day.
Yeah, it's not going to work right every day. That's just how it is. Okay. It's just, it can't work right every day. Because then you don't learn. And then you don't grow.
I know.
And then, so, all
right,
they got to stick it.
Okay.
Stick it out.
Well, thank you. This was wonderful. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Maddie's gonna put all the stuff on the Maddie's gonna do the shit she does.
Okay.
Hey again. Thanks for reaching the end. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next episode. We're joined by Angela Kelsey Giddings of Ridgefield Acupuncture. Don't miss all of Shannon's questions about that one. Thanks again from Vitality Ventures Group. How are you using your power?